Welcome to this explainer. You know the drill. You study for months for a massive career-defining exam, your stress levels are absolutely peaking, and then bam, your session gets flagged and potentially terminated. Why? Because your proctoring software decided your dog wandering into the room was some highly sophisticated secondary cheating device. It sounds totally absurd, but it's a very real nightmare for students and administrators right now. Okay, let's dive right into this, because remote assessment is absolutely no longer just some pandemic-era edge case. Today we are navigating the incredibly crowded 2026 landscape of AI proctoring software. Our goal here is simple: cut through all that marketing noise and help you find the exact platform that matches your institution's specific risk profile.
Here's our roadmap for today's discussion. We'll unpack the core problem with legacy proctoring, define the 4 pillars of modern software, break down 7 top platforms, and evaluate everything through the lens of exam stakes to get to the bottom line.
So Part 1, the 2026 proctoring problem, and why we desperately need to move beyond basic webcams.
Look, the old days of just turning on a basic webcam are totally done. Those legacy systems are practically fossils. Today, they regularly flag completely innocent behaviors, entirely miss the actual sophisticated cheating, and just bury exam administrators under massive piles of useless incident reports. We're talking hundreds of thousands of online exams run by universities and certification boards every single year, and they're all caught in this huge tug-of-war. On one side, you've got immense pressure to maintain airtight security. On the other side, you absolutely have to provide a smooth, stress-free user experience. You literally cannot sacrifice one to get the other anymore.
And here is the human cost of getting that balance wrong. According to a 2024 Online Learning Consortium survey, a staggering 63% of students said that overly invasive proctoring software actively ruined their test performance. Seriously, think about that for a second. The very tool meant to keep the test fair is actually making it unfair by inducing panic. That is a massive failure of technology. In 2026, it's not just about catching bad actors. It's about keeping things secure without generating those anxiety-inducing false positives that actively damage your relationship with legitimate candidates.
Which brings us to Part 2, defining good software today and the 4 non-negotiable pillars of 2026 proctoring.
Because simply locking down a browser and checking an ID, that's just table stakes now. Today's leading platforms have to nail 4 absolutely critical pillars. First up, detection accuracy. If your system flags 40% of your test takers, that's not a security tool. It's an administrative nightmare. We need true precision. Second is flexibility. Can you easily switch between AI only, a hybrid human-in-the-loop, or fully live options? Third is compliance coverage. Regulated industries need heavy-duty protections: FERPA, GDPR, SOC 2, FedRAMP, you name it. And finally, candidate experience. You've got to reduce that friction so you aren't treating every single user like a criminal the moment they log in.
All right, Part 3, the platform breakdown. Let's rapidly evaluate 7 of the top platforms currently dominating the market.
Let's kick things off with Proctor 360. This platform is purpose-built for high-assurance environments, and their defining superpower is a proprietary 360-degree total view. To understand why this matters, think about your standard laptop webcam. It has massive, glaring blind spots. A candidate could literally hide a smartphone or a textbook just an inch off screen, right out of view. Proctor 360 completely solves this by using a multi-angle camera setup that captures the whole surrounding room, completely eliminating those classic, easily exploited blind spots.
And the real-world impact of that total room view is honestly staggering. By pairing that environmental capture with refined behavioral AI, Proctor 360's engine drove a 76% drop in actual cheating incidents. But here's the real game changer for admins. They also slashed false positive flags by a massive 60%. That literally means getting your weekend back. You're actually spending time reviewing genuine, high-probability incidents instead of endless alerts just because someone looked up at the ceiling to think for a second.
Now let's pivot and compare 2 heavyweights focused on higher education, HonorLock and Proctorio. HonorLock goes with this really clever hybrid vibe. The AI monitors the exam, but if it detects something sketchy, a live human proctor can seamlessly pop right into the session to intervene in real time, completely avoiding the need to cancel the test. Proctorio, on the flip side, leans entirely into fully automated post-exam review. No real-time human intervention at all. Why go that route? Because it scales like crazy. It keeps per-exam costs incredibly low, which is a total lifesaver for massive state universities running thousands of quizzes every day on a tight budget. Moving on to Examity, which is really all about scalable flexibility. They give institutions 3 distinct tiers of oversight, starting at automated, stepping up to recorded human review, and going all the way to live proctoring. You just dial the security up or down based on the test. They even throw in biometric keystroke analysis. If you aren't familiar with that, it means the software doesn't just look at your face, it actually continuously verifies your identity by analyzing the unique rhythm, pressure, and speed of how you type on your keyboard. It's a seriously powerful feature for high-stakes certs.
Next up is Total View. This one acts as a fascinating bridge between enterprise HR hiring assessments and traditional academic exams. But their real standout capability is their fully mobile native support. Look, in a lot of developing regions, candidates might not own a personal laptop, but they almost definitely have a smartphone. Total View's mobile-first approach is an absolute game-changer for global accessibility, ensuring nobody is locked out of an opportunity just because of their hardware.
But what if AI just doesn't cut it for your regulatory needs, and you absolutely require a human pair of eyes actively watching the screen? Enter ProctorU, now part of Measure Learning. They are the deeply established veterans in the professional certification space. Whether someone is taking a crucial medical board exam in New York at noon or a finance cert in Tokyo at 3 a.m., ProctorU has a massive 24/7 global network of highly trained live proctors ready to go.
And finally, we have Respondus Monitor. If you spent any time on a university campus recently, you definitely know the Respondus Lockdown browser. Monitor is basically an AI and webcam add-on that snaps directly into that exact existing infrastructure. The beauty here? Practically zero friction. It requires almost no extra setup for professors who are already totally swamped, making it absolutely perfect for routine weekly coursework. However, you do make a trade-off, as it lacks some of the heavy-duty enterprise compliance features of the dedicated platforms.
All right, part 4. High stakes versus low stakes. Let's match the software to your actual risk profile.
Because here's the absolute truth. There is no magic one-size-fits-all bullet in this space. It all boils down to your organizational risk calculation. If you're running high-volume, low-stakes stuff, like an undergrad reading quiz, you want automated platforms that prioritize huge scalability and LMS integration, like Proctoring or Respondus. But if you're administering a high-stakes government exam or a nursing license where public safety is literally on the line, that calculation totally flips. You absolutely demand the airtight defensibility, human oversight, and rigorous data compliance of specialized platforms like Proctor 360 or Examity.
Let's actually zoom in on those high-stakes environments for a second. If your professional certification ever gets challenged in a massive legal dispute, your proctoring record has to be rock solid and legally defensible in court. For government programs, things like GovCloud and FedRAMP are strictly non-negotiable. You need comprehensive data processing agreements, plus SOC 2 Type 2 audits, just to act as third-party proof that you aren't mishandling private data. Proctor 360 really stands out heavily here because it was explicitly built from day one to shoulder the intense burden of these highly regulated markets.
Which brings us to our final section, Part 5, the bottom line, making your decision for 2026.
To wrap up our explainer today, I want to leave you with one critical, maybe even a little uncomfortable question to ask your team before your next major exam cycle begins. Look closely at your current proctoring data. Is your software actually maintaining true, defensible exam integrity? Or is it really just generating an endless stream of false positives that frustrate your admin staff and totally alienate your best candidates? Honestly, finding the platform that accurately matches your true risk profile is the only way you'll be able to answer that question with total confidence in 2026. Thanks so much for joining me.